Sadly, life for many Asians has been full of hardship because of poverty and the consequences of colonialism. They still bear the scars of abuse, oppression, and dehumanization. The Philippines was under the Spaniards for more than 300 years. Our dignity was trampled to the ground. We became like a bird imprisoned in a cage. One of our Filipino lament songs expresses the agony of being a colonized people. Ibon mang may layang lumipad, kulungin mo at umiiyak. Even a bird which has the freedom to fly cries when it is caged.
And I think that's the reason why it is not instinctive for us to think theologically, because there's something that we have inherited and we are, I think, content with it. Even though I know that we are not subservient to other cultures, there are things that just naturally comes out because of how long the effect of colonization has impacted us. Like, for example, when we went for our studies abroad, we tend to shy away. Even if I know that I have something to contribute, I would not assert myself. It took a while before I started speaking out.
And for many years, our people cried for liberty, for freedom. Now we have our freedom, but those hundreds of years of subjugation have left their mark on us. We are a broken people. Even now, we remain a suffering nation. We have a saying in Filipino, sakit ng kalingkingan, dama ng buong katawan, which in translation is the pain of the smallest finger is felt by the whole body. And that is why we continue to survive despite our difficulties.
People always ask me what I love about the Philippines, and my answer is that I love the people. The people are so resilient, they're so communal. Filipinos are generally outwardly happy, and they wouldn't readily express their negative feelings.
We make sure that our worship services are like a celebration, or in Filipino, like fiesta. You always have to end on a happy note, even there is suffering. And I remember coming to a church one time. The previous Sunday, we were not able to go to the church because there was flooding all over. Even the churches are flooded. And the first time I was able to go to church, there was not even mention about the flood. The songs are about, happy, and there's nothing. These problems begin to pile up. If you don't deal with them, or you don't have a way of coping with them. One of our coping mechanisms is to laugh at our problems.
Laughter in the midst of calamity, only in the Philippines. Only in the Philippines.
If you are preaching to these displaced people, you can't just say, God is good all the time. No, that's irrelevant. Yeah. But when you say, let's cry, so it transforms the way you prepare your message. There's this saying, the growth of the pastor dictates the growth of the church. We need resources.
We can feel it. Even the materials that we work with, there is not that many scholarly materials that are actually written by actual scholars here. And so there's a big need for scholars to actually think through our own context, produce theological materials, so that we can converse in a language that is actually more something that we can actually feel.
I'm Rico Villanueva. I'm the general editor of the Asia Bible Commentary Series. I also work as a part-time consultant with the Philippine Bible Society and teach part-time in Asia Graduate School of Theology here in Manila, where I teach the Book of Psalms.
The Psalms expresses the anatomy of the soul. Therefore, it is fit for the Filipinos, these Psalms. But the problem is, the Psalms are written in poetic language, so it's not easy to understand. And therefore, the commentaries of Dr. Rico, for example, can help a lot. It is very contextual to us. we can relate. We can relate to the Psalms. Filipinos can relate to the Psalms. There are many false teachers in our country. They're leading the people astray. That's the problem. They're leading the people astray. We have to do something about it.
I am the appointed son, and I have been promised all the blessings that are there, promised to Abraham. And they are all effective in my life.
How do we overcome this? Of course, we have to have people like Dr. Rico so that we can teach the people correctly, you know.
One of the marks of a mature church, they said, was self-theologizing. A culture, a people should be able to write or reflect theologically from their own context. So that's what we need.
Because the Word of God is now available in their own language, that gives them an identity that God speaks their language. And if God can speak their language, God can understand them. God can understand their sufferings. God can understand their challenges. God can understand everything that they're going through because God speaks their language. There is hope.
It would take some time, but I think the books which are solidly written from the Bible, from the Word of God, will be of a great help.